Right, folks, I'm here with Alex, the founder of Navigate World Whisky. We're in the Navigate boardroom, which isn't too shabby. Today we're tackling single casks. What are single casks? We'll also be tasting a quite stunning single cask whisky from Caol Isla. Let's get into it. Okay, Alex, so single cask, what is meant by the term single cask?
It's a really simple term, and the name implies the definition, certainly. Single cask, basically a bottling done from a single cask of whiskey. You could also refer to it as single barrel.
Single barrel.
Specifically, as the Americans love to use that term.
Yeah.
But I think any whiskey really that's come from one particular cask, you could regard as single cask whiskey.
Yeah, so whiskey enthusiast, myself included, you sort of covet and are really interested in single cask whiskies. What's the sex appeal there?
Sure. I mean, often sort of single cask is often implied that it could be better, even potentially. It's not always the case, but it's often the case. But not all casks are equal, as we know. Certain casks stand out, and those are the ones that I think should be bottled as single casks. And some casks may be better off using towards a blend or something like that.
Yeah, and some bottlers and independent bottlers and distributors earn a reputation for selecting great casks.
Absolutely, certainly got one here.
So, for example, we've got Signatory, huge warehouses of casks of whiskey. And here we've got a single cask selection by Navigate World Whisky and La Maison. Now, if anything screams personality and quality, it should be a bottling like this. This is Caol Isla, 8-year, vintage 2012. For those that are familiar with Caol Isla regular age statements, you can immediately see this is something completely different, isn't it?
Absolutely. By completely different, you're referring to the colour, no doubt.
The colour.
Coming from a sherry butt.
Correct.
And that's really important, is that this particular bottling, I don't believe actually says single cask on the label. But it does say it's a first fill sherry butt finish.
And cask number 12.
And cask number 12.
So there's your single cask.
Absolutely. Yeah. And going back to the colour comment, certainly, we don't often see a Caol Isla this dark. But certainly you can smell the peat and the sort of seaside character coming through as Caol Isla.
This is an absolutely stunning whiskey. I mean, we've had it before. I would put this amongst my top 5 whiskies I've ever tasted.
That's high praise coming from Brendan.
There's a single cask effect for you right there. Every now and then you just get something magic. Deep sort of fruits and prunes at 57.8%. You wouldn't know it. It just sits on your tongue like satin. It's like incredible.
And that's the wonderful things about bottling a great cask of whiskey, is it tends to be, often the really good ones can be very drinkable and almost very dangerous to drink whiskey this easily at 57.8%.
Yeah, I mean, a big peaty whiskey like this doesn't always marry well with a heavy sort of sherry finish, but that's the talent of the selection here. I mean, it's just a stunning whiskey. And that's single cask appeal in a bottle right there,
Absolutely. And I think the expertise in selecting a single cask is, we're quite fortunate to be in that space with La Maison de Whisky. How they get it right and consistently right, cask after cask, only they will know. But certainly, they've got a philosophy and strict criteria on their cask selection. And more importantly, they've got experience. They have some serious palates behind the cask selection. Yeah,
I mean, you're always forking out more. This is at cask strength. Single cask often is. I mean, almost always is bottled at cask strength. That's another part of the appeal. Cask strength is something we dealt with in another episode. But when you're forking out more for a whiskey, you want that assurance that you're going to get your money's worth. As you say, not all casks are great. So follow the reputation of those bottlers and those guys that have been doing it year after year, and use it as a guideline, I would say.
Absolutely. Let's enjoy more of what Brendan loves to refer to as his short rib whiskey.
Oh yeah, short rib I call it, just because of that sort of barbecued sweet, rich meats kind of flavour that comes through.
Absolutely.
Absolute stunner. Signatory.
Signatory.